The Galactic Academy's xenobiology amphitheater buzzed with nervous energy as Professor Zelthera adjusted her crystalline projection apparatus. Representatives from 47 species sat in carefully arranged atmospheric zones, each breathing their preferred gas mixtures while environmental fields maintained optimal temperatures. Raza Chen slouched in the back row, his human standard gravity field making the reinforced chair creak slightly. Beside him, Anna Volkov scrolled through her datapad, occasionally glancing at the sea of scaled, feathered, and chitinous beings below. They were the only two humans in the advanced xenobiology course, a fact that hadn't gone unnoticed by their classmates. Today we examine the most dangerous category of sapient life, Professor Zelthera announced, her four eyes scanning, the audience with practiced authority. Deathworld predators. A collective shiver rippled through the amphitheater. Even the usually stoic Zephyrians tucked their head tentacles closer to their bodies. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a rotating planetary model. Deep red warnings pulsed across its surface like infected wounds. Classification: extreme hazard, gravity, 1.2 standard. Atmospheric pressure, dense. Radiation levels, moderate to high. Weather patterns, catastrophically violent. Anna nudged Raza with her elbow. "Look familiar?" she whispered in English. He suppressed a grin. Earth's classification had been a source of dark humor among human colonists for decades. The theoretical Deathworld predator, Zelthera continued, manipulating the hologram to zoom in on various environmental hazards, would possess several key characteristics: enhanced bone density to survive high gravity, redundant organ systems to compensate for toxic exposure, accelerated healing factors, most critically, pack hunting intelligence combined with individual lethality. A student from Kepler 442b raised a trembling appendage. "Professor, surely such creatures remain. Theoretical? The galaxy couldn't survive actual contact with beings that evolved under such conditions." Zelthera's mandibles clicked in what passed for academic satisfaction. "An astute observation, young Keftos. Indeed, mathematical models suggest any species achieving sapience under Deathworld conditions would inevitably destroy themselves through warfare. Their aggression would make cooperation impossible." Raza felt Anna tense beside him. Their shared glance carried years of unspoken understanding, memories of human history lessons that contradicted everything being taught. "However," the professor continued, "we must consider the hypothetical scenario. Imagine, if you will, that such predators achieved spaceflight. Their physiology would grant them tremendous advantages." The hologram shifted, displaying anatomical projections: dense muscle fibers for strength, binocular vision for tracking prey, omnivorous dentition capable of processing virtually any organic matter. Most disturbing of all, emotional regulation systems designed for extreme stress response. "What do you mean by emotional regulation?" asked a crystalline delegate, their voice chiming like wind through glass formations. "Deathworld predators would experience what we might call positive stress response," Zelthera explained. "Rather than fleeing from danger, they would be biochemically rewarded for confronting it. They would literally become more effective when facing mortal peril." Anna's hand found Raza's wrist under the desk. Her pulse hammered against his fingers, the very stress response being described in action. "Their social structures would be equally terrifying," the professor went on. "Hierarchical, competitive, yet capable of extraordinary coordination when facing external threats. They would bond through shared violence and find entertainment in simulated combat." The amphitheater had grown deadly quiet. Several species had activated their personal shield generators. Most chilling of all, Zelthera's voice dropped to barely above a whisper, they would possess something we call persistence hunting instincts. They wouldn't simply kill prey. They would pursue it relentlessly across vast distances until exhaustion made resistance impossible. Avellan delegates' bioluminescent patches flickered in distress. Surely the universe has natural safeguards against such abominations? One would hope, Zelthera agreed. Though we must remember that evolution tends toward efficiency. If such predators did exist, They would be perfectly adapted to their environment. Every biological system would serve the purpose of survival and reproduction under the most hostile conditions imaginable. Raza shifted in his seat, the motion causing several nearby students to flinch away. He'd grown accustomed to such reactions over his 2 years at the academy, but it never stopped stinging. Of course, the professor continued, warming to her subject, the social implications would be equally fascinating. These theoretical predators would likely romanticize concepts foreign to civilized species, concepts like heroism in the face of certain death or sacrifice for group survival. They might even develop cultural narratives celebrating those who fight impossible odds. Anna's grip on Raza's wrist tightened. Every human child grew up with such stories, from ancient myths to modern space marines who held the line against impossible odds. Their expansion into space would represent an existential threat, Zelthera concluded. Not through malice necessarily, but through simple biological imperative. They would colonize the most dangerous regions of space, thriving where others perish. They would adapt to environments that kill other species within minutes. The hologram displayed a star map, with spreading red zones indicating theoretical Deathworld predator expansion patterns. It looked remarkably similar to human colonial charts. Questions? Zelthera asked. Raza stood slowly, his 2-meter frame casting a shadow across several rows. The amphitheater fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. Professor, he said, his voice carrying easily through the chamber's acoustics. What would happen if these theoretical predators weren't actually aggressive toward other species? What if they'd evolved strong protective instincts instead of purely predatory ones? Zelthera's eyes fixed on him with newfound interest. An intriguing hypothesis, Cadet Chen. Though one must consider whether such restraint could survive first contact with actual prey species. But what if? Anna joined in, rising to stand beside Raza. These predators had already made such contact. What if they'd been living peacefully among other species for years? The professor's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Then Cadet Volkov, we would have to radically revise our understanding of Deathworld evolution. Such beings would represent something unprecedented. Apex predators who chose cooperation over domination. The silence stretched until a brave Centaurian delegate whispered, "Where would one find such remarkable creatures?" Raza and Anna exchanged one final look before Anna smiled, revealing the slightly pointed canines that had made her self-conscious during her first semester. "Earth," she said simply. "We're from Earth." The amphitheater erupted into chaos as 45 species simultaneously activated emergency protocols, while 2 humans stood calmly in the storm they'd created, proving that sometimes the most dangerous predators were the ones who chose not to hunt.